We had a good little match, though. I have that
Yeah,
one.
we did. I actually enjoyed that, believe it or not.
I got it on tape. We'll watch
Jerry's
it.
able to put it up on the internet if he wants.
I sure will.
But
What
he
about you,
won't
Nick?
because he's lazy.
What about you, man?
I can't think of any new school matches right off the bat that I've had.
You've had a couple of new school ones with me, too, in
Did I?
PWA. Well, I don't know how new school they were, but we did high spots. We didn't do a lot of, rest holds and things of that nature.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I would be both. No, I'm just kidding. Mr. Fantasy was definitely your most old school.
So,
What about you, man?
Nick Vortex!
My most old school match was Robert Gibson.
Oh, that's sweet. How about one for Heath?
hell no. I get him enough in the ring, okay?
He gets them on the lip.
Yes. In
No,
the ring.
it was me against Robert Gibson in PWA. It was really old school, but I was scared, so it didn't matter because I was brand new.
Freaking Robert Gibson.
I don't know how.
Looks at you.
I don't know how old school that would have been really though, because you said you did a missile drop kick in it, and
But it was a missile dropkick. That was the high spot.
so it was in the
rest
context of old school
The
psychology.
rest of, well, I mean, if you consider like all the matches I've had, I do a moonsault in every
12?
match. You know,
That's
all
true.
14 matches I've ever had in my life.
Jesus.
2 of them were against Dan Delicious. 3 of them were against Dan Delicious. He probably doesn't even remember.
I don't.
But it was in Chipley, and he kept pulling my chest hairs out, and it sucked.
I did that to a young son of a bitch in Hattiesburg the other day. He was like 16. I freaking had him in some kind of sugar hold, right? For those who don't know what the sugar hold is, fuck you. But I freaking...
You don't get to know.
I pulled every one of his freaking arm hairs out.
Oh.
No, what it was, I was wearing shorts in the match. I was wearing the shorts.
I pulled them like right
He's
there.
pulling these hairs
Yeah,
out.
I remember that.
I was like, oh my god, fucking quit.
The thigh hairs. Oh, the
It's
worst.
like, why would you do that to another
He's
human?
always screwing with somebody, man.
And then my most new school match,
Probably backyard brawl, huh?
well, no, gimmick.
Don't put words in his mouth.
Yeah,
Sorry
okay.
about that.
Gimmick matches aside,
Okay.
my most new school match would probably be involving Mikey Webb
Yeah.
in IWC when we did just the crazy shit we always did when I would do the miracle whip over the top rope and stuff like that. Those were fun matches.
He's
Because-
he's a good flip flop flyer, that kid.
Yeah.
First time I seen him was in North Kakalaki.
You wanted to see his back.
I did. Some bitches that damn long.
Oh boy, here we go.
Matter of fact,
You begged him.
Up.
Another Dan Delicious memory that I have was we were working in AWF Chipley, and it was this show where they were doing TV, and I think Luscious Larry might have been booking at the time, or someone,
The mullet.
Just Larry.
or maybe Dandy Jack, but they were booking at the time, and I had to have like 46 matches because they were taping the next.
That was
8
on
years for
Sundays,
TV.
wasn't it? Yeah, on Sundays.
And I got paid like $8 to work 74 matches. That was one where I worked Dan in like match number 51.
8, not 5 or 10.
Yeah.
It's such an odd number.
That's all he had was like
737 is what he got paid.
Here's $8 and
$7.
change.
All dimes and
Give it to me
nickels
in
and
nickels and
pennies.
pennies.
He gave him an option: $8 and change, or not one of his cow valets. And
I took the $8. They gave it to me in a Ziploc bag and just dropped some rollers in there. Where the hell was I going with this?
You were going to the Pecker story.
No, we were in the locker room, and Mikey Webb was changing, and Mikey Webb's one of those modest guys that wraps the towel around his waist and like.
God's got a
That is not an Armstrong, by the way. They're no modest at all.
So he's got his pants off and he's got his towel up, and Dan Delicious does the, hey boy, let's go see that. What you got there? What you got under there? And Mikey's like, man, shut up. So then while he's not, he turns around to talk to somebody else, and Dan Delicious grabs the towel and goes, yoink.
I had to see the freaking elephant trunk,
And it
man.
dropped.
It's freaking
Then hit the ground, causing earthquakes and power outages.
You heard this on.
You did.
Poor kid, he would not come around Dan for like the next 2 weeks of the show. He's
Wear
walk away.
freaking suppression shorts, underwear, or something. Anytime.
And also, it was uncut.
Anytime.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's the bad thing. He is a Gentile through and through.
He admits it.
Wear something.
Yeah, where were we with
So
the?
he has an old school.
Oh, he
To bring it all together.
He does. I swear to God.
What's new school? I mean, what the,
You got the old
So
school
Yes, he would be
package.
an all around with an old school tip.
Peel it back.
Oh,
Peel it back and make it bleed becomes a new meaning with him.
I'm gonna puke.
he's gonna see this and he's gonna be like, "Oh my God."
He's going to be sitting on his ding dong, 5 feet in the air, going, "This isn't funny."
Doing, doing.
He's the only other Tigger in the road he can pelt. So
The poor guy, I mean, he's a nice guy, but where's
love
some
him.
freaking underwear? My God, nobody wants to see your freaking elephantitis or whatever you got there.
Michael or Dan puts a gimmick in his thing. He can do the whole Dan Delicious gimmick without the whole gimmick thing.
Promo pic.
Tell that story.
God lens
Yeah, tell the
camera.
promo pic story.
Yeah.
That's a story.
Let Nick tell it because Nick had the pleasure of having it done to him.
A lot of people have
Yeah,
said
a lot
that.
of people had the pleasure of having it done.
Yeah.
We were
Like a year and a half, a freaking.
Who's
my-
got the pick?
Scott, the funniest thing. Not to cut you
No, no,
off
no, no.
there,
You're new.
but
They see me all the time.
Scott, I
I was
went
talking about
up.
Justin Singh jerking off in a bush later. What?
I pulled 2 freaking ribs on Scott Armstrong that I will never forget. One is a promo pic. I went up to Scott and was like, "Hey, I got this new promo pic. I want to send off to WWE and TNA. I want to get your advice, about it, how it looks and all that." He's like, "Oh yeah, sure." Thinking I was all serious and everything.
Because he's such a nice guy.
Yeah, Scott's a super nice guy. I'd lay down and have his children.
That's 2 people.
Lots of children, man.
Two people. And
Four.
It's Kevin Dan Armstrong's the kid's name if you're wondering.
Danny Armstrong.
I freaking started out slow, and then you seen a little bit of my belly because everybody that's seen me seen the big freaking Kush forest I got right there. Freaking just pulled it out real quick, and this big freaking picture of my big freaking slong right there, and his eyes, I swear to God, got that big around. And he said, "Oh my God!"
He didn't turn away. He's a scary
He
thing.
didn't. He kept staring.
It's like
He's
a car wreck. You have to look
He's
at
like,
it.
"Oh my God, have you got an elephant attached to your body?" And I was like, "No, man, that's me." It's like, "That's the biggest thing I've ever seen in my whole entire life." And he, to this freaking day, he will put that crap over. The number 1 freaking rib I pulled on Scott Armstrong was in PWA. Some of y'all might remember. I can't remember who exactly was in the dressing room, but I went around to the war room that they had there, and Scott was always in there. And he was talking, blah 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 blah. Had his back turned to the door. I stripped butt freaking naked, and Scott was sitting in a chair, and he was waist high. And I walked up to him and I turned, and everybody in the room saw but Scott. And Scott was just going over this match. Yeah, and we're going to do da 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 and a bump and a blah 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 blah. And it's like, "Hey Scott, can I get some advice for you? I got this whole match." And he's like, "Yeah, sure." My freaking, I swear to God, my little ding ding was about that far from his face. And he freaking came out of that dang chair. I'm so proud of that moment.
In the same story, he called his dick huge.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying to say the same thing. We went from this big to like this.
It depends on whether or not he's fluffed.
Yes, you're exactly
The
right.
picture was very fluffed.
Very
Yeah,
flushed. I flushed it myself.
All right, back to wrestling.
Somebody did.